All right, it's the October version of Idea Share. So we've changed this to a monthly meeting now, and I'm delighted to have all of you here today. My name is Beth Golick from Key Ministry, and yeah, so we hold these meetings each month just to talk about what's going on in our ministries, especially as we begin to, see what reentry is going to look like or not for some of you. For the time being, and just really to support and encourage each other. So who would like to start today? Who has anything to report? Yes, Deanna, how are you?
Good, thanks. We have been meeting together as a church, and now our classes resumed about 3 weeks ago. Last night we had our first, since COVID, our first special needs worship night, special needs
Okay.
families worship night that we try to do quarterly. And we had to move our space again to have a little more room. So we ended up having that in a worship center that seats 5,000 people. And there was our little 30 or 40 people in there. But it was an absolutely fabulous night. And our greatest surprise of the night was to have visitors come to this who came from 3 hours away. And I had posted it on a special needs page here in the county area. And when she said, we're, coming from Palm Coast, I private messengered her. I said, we need to talk. So this is not a Passion City level event, but they wanted to come to this. They're considering moving to this area.
Okay.
And they have now found a church if they move to Tampa. So
Wow,
it was a fabulous, sweet night to be back together again.
that's awesome. Oh, I love these idea shares. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. So you do that on a quarterly, or you will be doing that on a quarterly basis?
That has been our pattern in the past for the last couple of years.
Okay.
That way. And we have anywhere from 30 to 70 people attend that. And it's a place where the families entirely come together, where everyone's welcome in the church, but for some families that still doesn't work for them. But
can you tell us a little bit more about what the event looks like?
Sure. We have a couple that's our worship leaders for that who happen to have 4 children on the autism spectrum. So they're the perfect leaders for this, and great musicians to boot. So it was wonderful to have them on a real platform with good sound and everything, as opposed to the smaller room we're usually in. So we have worship music, and then the pastor who is over our department, Pastor Reno Zunz, is typically our speaker at that. Occasionally we'll have another pastor come in for that. And he addressed last night, he's known for his top tens. It's kind of a humorous thing that has followed him for 30 years, but he did the top 10 reasons we need to stay connected. Okay. And that was what we were doing, was reconnecting that way last night. And then again, connecting with 2 new families, the one from a ways away and one who just moved to the area and started attending here about a month ago with us. So getting them connected. And then they hung out, and we were in the worship center, so we didn't have any food or drink or anything like that. Sometimes we will do, a food item afterwards. But mostly it's just being able to be free and comfortable with people who totally get it. That was kind of like our tagline for this one. It was in a gathering of people who get it. So nobody had to feel awkward with that, that one child. Even out of that group, there was only one who was really making a lot of movement and stuff like that. And it was one of the newest families. But, nobody turned their head around to look or anything like that. So yeah, fabulous comfort level there.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you for reporting on that. All right. Who else would like to share?
On Tuesday out here in California, we had our youth group, and we had like a bunch. It was like pumpkin night. Like, why not? So we had everyone stay socially distant outside with masks. So we had like a pumpkin catapult where people really like shoot pumpkins out of the catapult, which was pretty fun, and they all enjoyed that. But I thought what was nice is the youth directors, they organized it in kind of a more unstructured way the night. So there was different activities the kids could go to, it was just really neat to see spaces where, our kids that struggle with social anxiety were able to just kind of enter a space that was just more, there wasn't a ton of expectation. Like they're just able to enter it. And then our kids that are more, active, they had things that they could do to enter spaces. So I just thought it was a really well done kind of thing. It was a little more unstructured, I think, than we would normally do, but I think it worked for the fact that, we're kind of regathering in some capacity for the first time in 7 months. And so everyone of every sort of, all over the social spectrum was kind of able to have a space for them. And so I thought they did a really good job of knowing the kids and knowing what they need and making fun events for everyone. So it was really successful. Like it was a great night.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And the air quality was good enough that you could spend the time outside.
Yeah, we always have to wait till about 2 hours before and check like every app ever to find out. So preschool is canceled again today because it was like too high. So yeah, we're living it out here.
Wow. So it's like a daily decision?
Yeah. So whenever we have an event, not because it's been so smoky, about 2 hours beforehand, we have to make the call and have backup Zoom links and everything if we can't meet in person.
Wow.
So
See, so
little
those
added.
not in California. There's like a thing we don't have to deal with right there.
Yeah, I guess we weren't happy enough with just the pandemic. We had to add other factors. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear your event went well. Who else? Who's got something? Al?
Yeah, it was a busy weekend here out east in northern New Jersey. We had with Young Life, we had the movie Lion King. For 3 Capernaum clubs, we all met together. There were 21 families, 13 leaders, 6 buddies, and over 50 people at one point. So it was a really good event. It was the first time all 3 clubs have been together since pre-COVID, I think. So it was really good to be together. Earlier in the day, one of the clubs met in New York for a family picnic. I think there were about 8 families there and leaders and things like that. So it was really good to be together. Again, not everyone social distanced the whole time, but it was still good to be together. At Liquid Church, it was announced on Sunday that in 3 Sundays, October 25th, we will begin gathering indoors, which is the first time that's been said. We will be gathering at our 3 biggest campuses. One is in northern New Jersey, one's in central New Jersey, one's in southern New Jersey. The 4 other campuses will be closed, or people will come from those campuses to the other ones. We'll have 2 services at 9 and 11 at both sites, or all 3 sites, and social distance. Unfortunately, there's no Liquid Family on site at any of those. The church has been doing every day, they've been doing online stuff, but it's still different than being on site. But at least we'll start up. 60% of the people surveyed were ready to meet up in person in one form or another, which was very different from the 70% not being ready a few months ago. So there seems to be a change in heart and attitude about meeting up again. So we're excited about that.
Great. So tell us a little bit more about, the event where the 3 Capernaum groups were meeting together, like what did that look like and what kind of space were you in? What kind of, were participants wearing masks? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we met outside at one of the churches where we meet at, and we had a screen maybe 10 feet across. I'm not sure how big it was. People scattered on the lawn. There's a bunch of New York friends have been together a lot already, so they all sat together. In my background, that's the New York Club, so a bunch of them were there at this on the lawn. And we started out, it wasn't quite dark yet, but as it went on, it got fully dark. People were spread out pretty well, and it was just very festive to be together after not seeing each other that often. So, out here, just being together is really important. So as we can, we're pushing the limits a little bit to be together, and just it really changes people's attitudes to meet up again and just be together.
Great, thank you. Good report. Who else? I'll share that this weekend, this coming up weekend, will be the first day back indoors at my church. And that includes children's ministry and special needs ministry. So we're doing a reservation system, and we've limited class sizes, and we've limited, parents aren't going to be allowed in the children's wing and that kind of thing. So I'll let you know how that goes in our November idea share. And we also are having a drive-in movie in our parking lot Saturday night. So so we've got a couple things going on here.
Good.
Yes, Meekins, Julie.
So we had a life group class yesterday morning at church. And the cool thing that is happening is that we're getting new people each week, which is kind of fun just by the description that was written. So that's pretty cool. But we have a dear family in our church. And I think there are 4 kids and a mom and a dad. The dad is autistic and 3 of the children are. So they're a delightful family. We just enjoy them so much, and they are taking part in our class. And I'm saying this not to pat myself on the back, but just to help you guys understand, and I know you already know this, that we really do make a difference in people's lives. So when they found out that we were going to start a life group, they were like, of course we're going to be there. Because they know they're going to be loved. They know they're going to be comfortable. People aren't going to look at them funny. And the children came to the class as well. And they, were sitting with their mom. Dad was on Zoom because he needed to stay home with a different child, which was cool too, because the whole family could participate because there were both options. So it was just delightful to have them. And then just to be able to continue, we got some really cool people in our group too, some with some disabilities and some without. And that's what we wanted to create so that we could love on each other. And that's what the family of God is all about. So it was pretty cool. It was a really cool morning.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's working pretty well, doing a combination Zoom and in-person group. And sometimes we have just as many people on Zoom as in person. So consider that when you're opening up, because if we send the Zoom link out to everyone, and so if you can't make it to the church that day, then you can attend, and that happens.
So for those of you who haven't been on these idea shares a lot, know that like the Meekins were not Zoom experts before this.
True.
And they are now like who you should contact as you're trying to set up kind of a hybrid type of thing for your ministry, because wow, guys, you're rocking it. And like how awesome that you're getting people who haven't participated before to really be together in community. And I think you're being really like outside the box thinking as far as how to include people. And I'm in awe. And I just think you guys are doing a great job.
Well,
Thank you for that encouragement. And yes, you're right. We didn't have a clue what we were doing when we started, but God is God, right?
That's right. That's awesome. All right. Who else? Yes, Diana.
Yeah. Not a whole lot, but this was our past weekend was our 4th weekend back inside with everything open. And unlike your church, Beth, our church is absolutely no reservations. So yesterday was, I don't have the exact numbers, but it was an all-time probably high. And so there's no social distancing at all in our children's areas. Of course, in our special needs area, yes, but we don't have very many coming because they are still doing 100% mask requirements, no medical exclusions, age 1st grade and up. But parents are everywhere in the children's area. You were mentioning restrictions. It is just, at one point, I had my mask on, but I just felt like there was just too many people in too close a proximity, especially waiting to drop off elementary kids. So for those reasons, we have just not had a lot of our special needs friends coming back in person. And I totally understand that, and talked with, another mom who came yesterday, but left her son at home with his sister. And, she wants to try to bring him back. Once we're in our special needs area, we are not I guess, so worried about 100% mask compliance, but at the same time, we are really trying very hard to do that. Unless it's like yesterday, we had a medically fragile. Obviously, we're not going to put a mask on him, and he's in a wheelchair and he's not going anywhere. So that's just kind of the struggle that I have, is trying to balance wanting to get the families back, but then also wanting the families to be safe. And I don't know at this point. We just have to wait and see. I don't see them lifting the mask requirement, given that they're not going to do the social distancing.
Right. Yeah. That's hard. And this, like these calls are always very interesting to me because we're all in different areas of the country and our states have different rules. Our church leadership has different rules. And so it's really kind of interesting to me to see how, we're all dealing with this. We have some churches, and I'm pointing this way because Sylvia's over here for me, but they're not opening up anytime soon. And others have been open for weeks with, all different kinds of policies. There's not one, across the board policy. So, okay, well, that's, our church will not do reservations for the sanctuary, but for children's ministry, we're limiting it to, for all of children's ministry, 16 elementary students, 14 preschool students. So any student with special needs is included in that count because we're going to do an inclusive setting, but a sensory area. And then teens and adults with special needs, we're limiting to 5 at each hour because our classroom is smaller for that one. So.
And yes, Beth, I just want to comment that no, we will not be going back anytime soon. We did have a women's conference this weekend, well, Friday and Saturday, and of course it was all virtual, and we had about 3,000 participants.
Wow!
But I know we just need to be careful because the numbers are going up and down here in Virginia. I know in Virginia, the numbers I saw in the paper today, the numbers were up. And I know they're up in Tennessee because my son, who has the 7 children, he and his wife and all 7 children were diagnosed on Friday, Saturday, and yesterday with COVID. So I'm just telling people to please, and they were doing everything that they thought that they could possibly do. I'm just telling everybody to be careful.
Yeah, thank you for that. And boy, we'll be praying for them. So 7 kids, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody, wow.
Yeah. They thought it was strep throat at first with the kids, and then they all got tested yesterday, and they all tested positive.
Yeah.
And they range from 17 to 5.
That's tough. Oh boy.
Well,
Yeah,
Doc. I'll jump in and first, Sylvia, praying for your kids and grandkids there. Heart goes out to all of them there, no question with that. But first, I got many different resources I'd like to throw out and offer to everybody. First thing that I don't think very many people know about, one, you all know I'm a glutton for punishment. So I can't say no, and I keep taking things on. But I'm actually overseeing another conference that's actually kicks off literally right now this week. It's the Kid Men MegaCon conference, and we have a special needs track for that. Victoria White, who's on the call here today, are you doing 2 or 3 talks tonight? 2, right? 2. We've had people had to drop out, so her and I have been picking up extra talks. She's doing 2. I think I'm doing 3 all week long. They're free this week, so you can go to kidmennation.com. The talks are every day at 12 1:40 or 12:40 Central, or 1:40 Central or Eastern, and then 2:15 Eastern as well. Do I have those times right, Victoria? I think that's right.
It's 1:40 Eastern and 3:15 Eastern.
3:15 Eastern. 3:15. I knew I was getting that mixed up. Thank you for helping me out there. Chance to get in today will be the first one will be Marie Cook from Nathaniel's Hope talking on Respites, and then I'll be talking the second one today, and I've already forgotten what my talk is. Oh, I'm doing weekend buddy training. So those will be the two there with that. So if you got time, you can hop in. It'll all be over Zoom with that. So again, free, but kidmannation.com is where you can go for those. Also, we've been doing the last 3 months now, SOAR, we've been doing virtual respites for our individuals. And they've been going very well. And we've actually now have opened them up nationwide. They're virtual. We've opened up to other churches, especially some of the churches that just haven't been able to put things together yet. And so we're going to be able to have those available for you. We do them as teens, one for adults and one for elementary. They're completely free. So if you're interested in getting your disability ministry group involved with that, we're happy to bless you and be able to offer that to you. So you don't have to do any of the extra legwork. If you want to hop in and be part and be a buddy and be with your folks, you're welcome to do that as well. So if you want to be a part of that, you can just email us at info@soarspecialneeds.org, and we'd love to get you down that. Someone just asked if the talks are being recorded this week for the Kidmin. They are, but I don't know what they're going to be doing with those talks, if they're going to be releasing them later or not, or how they're going to be doing that. So I'm not sure on how that's going to happen, but they've got a ton of other talks too through the week. Other thing I want to offer out to everybody is, again, we are creating a virtual online ministry directory. So I want to give every disability ministry the opportunity to create a 5 to 10 minute video of what you do. We will host it for you free to be able to display what you do for your families. It's got 3 purposes. One, it's got a great way to recruit new families to your ministry. Great way to have a new family see what you do, and then it helps with the whole transition process. 2, it's going to help recruit new volunteers to your church and to your ministry. And then 3, it's a great resource for all of us to see what one another does and be able to learn from one another. And, I know a lot of people would love to have something like that on their church website, but usually we all have to fight with space on the website. You don't have to worry about that. We'll host it all. It'll be completely free. We want to bless you with that. And so if you're interested in doing that, again, email us at info@soarspecialneeds.org. We're hoping to get that launched after the Wonderfully Made conference, and we're hoping to have at least 25 to 50 ready to be able to launch with that. So any questions you can ask me there. And then lastly, obviously, is the Wonderfully Made conference. Will be October the 19th through the 23rd. Definitely want to get in on that. If you haven't signed up already, make sure you do. wonderfullymadekc.com is the site for that. If you use the promo code, all capitalized, Talk with Doc, you'll get 20% off. So, give you that promo. We do have a VIP subscription that gives you access to every talk we have for an entire year, so that you can see them anytime. Plus, we're going to be adding extra curriculum throughout the year as well, but that will only be to our VIP subscribers. So a lot of different things there. We also have a parent support group that we're doing now that's become national. That's on the 3rd Thursday of every night. Again, we want to make that available to your ministries. If you'd love to have your ministries be a part of that, we've got two moms who are huge with advocacy and helping parents cope. And so it's just a great time where parents can get together about 8 o'clock on a Thursday night after the kids go to bed, that's Central Time, and talk for an hour over Zoom and just whatever's going on. And so They're also experts with resources. And so if anyone needs resource help on how to get something, they can also help them with that. So a lot of different things, but we want to make sure you know that SOAR's here to assist you through all that. And we want to help your churches out, and that's all free for you. So a lot of stuff. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Doc. Yeah, lots of great resources. So check it out at sourcespecialneeds.org. I put a website in the chat, but thank you, Allison, for putting the correct one. Allison shared the link for today's Zooms for the Kidman Nation that Doc was talking about. Yes, and okay, and Doc addressed that. Okay, great, thank you. That's a lot of great information for, that even those of us who don't live in Overland Park, Kansas can still take advantage of. So thank you, Doc. All right, what else is going on out there?
Hi, this is Bob Furtado back in Michigan.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, and I just wanted to mention again and look for feedback from the members that are on now. I am moving forward with a Bible study and a weekly online meetings for those of us with disabilities or illnesses. And my thought was that this would give us an opportunity as individuals to get together and to share with each other. So what I was looking for the membership throughout the next month, perhaps you could contact me with some ideas or critiques on this type of an endeavor where we get together on our own.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more, Bob, about like what you're envisioning, and then how would you like people to reach you if they have some thoughts? I mean, obviously they can tell you today, but if they have additional thoughts.
Well, my thought was to have people with disabilities grow more in their faith, starting with a Bible study and having those posted on YouTube so that they can be the closed captioning feature of that could be used, and then on a weekly basis using Zoom as a platform so that we can get together not only to discuss the scriptures for that particular week, but also to have a sounding board for people who may be having difficulties with their own local churches, looking for resources that might be out there to help each other with the resources that we found, some techniques that we use just to simply cope on a daily basis.
That sounds great. I'm seeing a lot of nods in the on my little grid here. So, so do you have how will you be doing the YouTube videos?
I've created a YouTube channel called St. Lucy's Guide and begun putting up videos on that. Along with that, there's a Facebook page. But if people could contact me even through your organization just by my email, maybe we could pass that on to people who are interested in giving me some advice or direction. I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just nice to be able to get with people who are going through the same things or similar things that you just wouldn't talk about with your local minister, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So Bob, remind me, your email address is bobthebrailer at
yahoo.com.
At Yahoo. Okay, so I'll type that in the chat. bobthebrailer at yahoo.com. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. So please reach out to Bob if you have, questions, suggestions, ideas, and we'll look forward to hearing more about how this is going. Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Yeah, Grace. Hey.
Tom and Julie, I appreciate your zooming in on your Bible study. We've been kind of organically doing a Bible study every other week. Some of our guys live in an independent living apartment, and we've been in the parking lot, just, you know, bringing our lawn chairs and sitting in the parking lot to do Bible study together. And neighbors started joining us, and people from the group home across the way started joining us. And now it's Michigan and it's October and it's cold. So we've got a couple more weeks planned, and then we were wondering what we were going to do. And our church just announced that we're going to start opening up for a few groups space in the evening as it gets cold. So I'm super excited about that. And also understanding that, like, for some people it's been proximity, right? Like, just walk out of your door and you're in the parking lot. So so just wondering what that looks like to be able to continue to, you know, give people space even though we're far away. So I love just this opportunity to, like, we're all still here, just Zoom in if you can't make it. So thanks.
That's great. I think did I see on Facebook, did I see a picture of one of your parking lot?
Probably.
Yes, it looks awesome. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that, you know, like, neighbors are leaning in and, you know, and just, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Hi, my name's Kieran Gilmore, and we're new to your group. Liz Irwin was on this call a minute ago, and is on our ministry as well. We're in Dallas, Texas, and we're at Highland Park United Methodist with the Belong Disability Ministry. So thank you. It's good to be here and to hear what's going on. Dallas has been pretty hard hit, and we've been pretty cautious and just kind of made a decision. We serve pretty much all ages, and so just made a decision early on that we would just wait until community spread was pretty far down before we opened. And it kind of relieved the pressure of, should we open? You know, when can we open? How can we open? Who can we open to? Because we didn't want to just open. We wanted to be able to open to everybody, even if they needed more care than others or couldn't tolerate a mask, et cetera. And our church isn't open yet either, which obviously makes that decision a lot easier. So we've just went kind of, once we made that decision, it seemed like we could just then put our energy into online programming. And I think, you know, especially our adult and teen populations, they're very lonely and isolated right now. And many of them are having to, you know, just be so careful, being vulnerable. So we've really seen great success with that. We have had a Facebook page, but it never got much traction. And so we decided early on, we wanted, you know, not only to combat depression, but all kinds, you know, just to get people exercising. So we started a fitness challenge that was just hilarious, so fun. So they would post pictures of themselves, and then we had a parade. We've had a couple with churchwide, we've had successful parades, and we're getting ready to have our second one in our ministry. And we just make it really clear up front, look, you're going to drive through. No one's going to, you know, get within 6 feet of you. We're all going to be masked. They open their trunk and we put things in using gloves. And that was just really fun. But our fitness winners got to come through the parade in convertibles. And they owned it. It was great. And then our main winner, he uses a wheelchair. And he couldn't be, just because of the tone, his CP tone, he couldn't be in a convertible. So we're right by SMU. And so we had 3 cheerleaders, all masked, that walked him through the parking lot. So it was just a great celebration. And so we restarted our challenge, but they're doing a ton of minutes, and it just seems to be something good for them. But we've had great success with, we've been doing day classes. So we have about 5 of those a week with just different topics, different things, story times. We have, because, you know, you don't want to, I'm sure we all are in that place too. We don't want to lose our volunteers. You know, you've got these volunteers and you want to keep them going. And so the classes have been a lot of fun for that. They've been able to share things. And then our church is doing a lot of church-wide Bible studies. And so we actually joined, and I was really proud. Our adult Sunday school class started 4 of the 26 small groups in our church. So we're studying.
Wow, that's amazing.
do that on Sunday mornings, but I would love to hear more from the Meekins. I wrote down your name I'm already thinking about when the time comes, who knows when we do go back, how to do hybrid. Because we've had people Zoom in on like team meetings and stuff, and they tell me it's hard to feel apart, et cetera. So I don't know. I think we've been forced to learn a whole lot during this time. And I don't know about you guys, but some of your families you reach out to in the midst, like, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And they're like, this is our normal life. Like, this is, the rest of the world goes on and we're at home. And so I think this whole Zoom platform is just going to be powerful. And I wonder if it's a hybrid or if it's almost like two separate things, like you have a choice when the time comes. I don't know. So lots of questions ahead, but we're Zooming away in our ministry, and we're actually doing our family camp on Zoom. So that is with a parade as well. So that's a little bit sad to me because it's such a great weekend, but 2020, we just do what we can.
There you go. That should be the tagline for all of our ministries. That's great.
Karen, you can find us at tomjuliemeekins@gmail.com, and anybody else too. And we'd be very happy to share with you what we're doing. We feel like the people that are on Zoom are feeling just as a part of the class as the people that are in the class. I think part of that is because we call them out. We have like the first 10 minutes of class is really just to chat and find out how people are doing and to introduce anybody that's new. And we just, Tom says, we put the computer on a desk and it's like it's another person. And that just really helped my mindset.
Right. It's a mindset, because we thought, how do you do Zoom and have people there? It's just another person sitting on another desk, multiple heads. So.
And that really does make a difference, though, because they right early on, as soon as somebody wants to say something on the Zoom call, we're constantly paying attention to when they want to do it. And they're really feeling a part of it. It's been fun to watch that. So yeah, but we'd be really happy to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking that maybe our November roundtable topic, our third Wednesday of the month, maybe we could talk about, well, especially Meekins, if you're available, maybe we could talk about, like best practices for like a hybrid model or something like that. Would anybody be interested in, yeah. Okay. All right. So October's roundtable. So the third Wednesday of each month, we do a topic roundtable like this. So this month it's going to be, we're talking Christmas, COVID and Christmas this Wednesday or this month. So November we will do, the hybrid. We'll talk about best practices for a hybrid model. Cool. There's some info going on in the chat, so let me catch us up. So Bronwyn shared that they've been alternating in-person gatherings with Zoom with their youth. 1 week they had a small in-person gathering, and the next they have a Zoom gathering so everyone can connect somehow. And they've also begun to try this with their children's ministry. And then Christy is asking Karen, what ministry are you with? She loves the parade idea and would like to learn more. Also very interested in knowing more about the fitness challenge for our group of adults with special needs. And then Christy shared her email in the chat. So Karen, can you tell us a little bit more about your ministry, please?
Sure. We are Belong Disability Ministry. So we're out of Highland Park United Methodist Church in Dallas. And we started with Respite 20 years ago, and it's called Night Owls, Out with Loving Sitters. And that grew into Sunday school, which we laughed. It was daycare and donuts at first, and now has grown into a vibrant 3-class. We have kids, teens, and adults. We also have a show that was originally called Jesters, but we decided we could come up with a better name. And so it's called Spotlight, and it's grown into a kind of an arts academy. So they create a musical, we have a short film, and then we have a theater skills. So the gal over that was on Broadway when she was young. And so she actually has a Broadway person doing the Zoom, because the Broadway person doesn't have work right now. So they're doing the theater skills right now, which has been fun. But that has been a great outlet and way for our participants to really express themselves. We have a resource person, which is Liz, who's on this call. And so she's just available to families. Our church is very just open to the community. You don't have to be a member of our church to take part in our programs. And so we have a resource center. We have day programs that we just added. The church kind of added a new building, and we, as you guys know, getting real estate within the church is hard, getting rooms. And so they gave us quite a bit of space. And so they just said, please use it. So we were really on an upswing with that. We opened a pie and coffee shop called Chances that's run by adults with disabilities. And that was really turning a corner before all this started, but we'll get back to it. So we serve pie and coffee. Liz, am I leaving anything out? I think that hits it.
You got the thumbs up. Yeah. Good. Okay, great. So you must be a pretty large church.
It's a big church. Yeah. A big church that has senior leadership that's just very behind us. So as we all know, that makes a huge difference.
Yes, it does. Well, I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding. Yes, it does. Carrie, yes, the third Wednesday of each month is our Disability Ministry Video Roundtable. So it's a forum pretty much like this, a lot of the same people sometimes too, but we'll tackle a specific topic that we advertise in advance. And if you go to keyministry.org and click on the events tab, you will see information about the next Disability Ministry Video Roundtable, and hopefully you can all come. But it's at the same time of day, but on a Wednesday, third Wednesday. Oh, good. And Karen shared her email address in there and the ministry name. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
Sure,
Dan,
yeah.
oh, go ahead, Bronwyn.
Oh yeah, no, I had to step away for a second, so maybe you guys talked about this while I was gone. We found, since we're gathering in like very small cohorts out here, and we found those who expressed they weren't ready to come back. It wasn't necessarily due to the fact they were afraid they're going to contract coronavirus or something. They just, a lot of people didn't know what to expect or didn't know how to tell, like what to tell their kids what to expect. So we said, okay, so we started to put more thought into how we communicate what's going on. And so maybe for some of your families, it's not so much like we don't want to come back because we're afraid of getting sick. Maybe it's just like we don't want to come back yet because we're just not sure what to expect. And that's something that I hadn't quite considered. I mean, for my own kids, like they come, my son especially comes with me to work and does the outside things with me, so he knows and I don't have to explain to him. But I thought, oh, there's a lot of families that just don't know. And so I've started to think about, how do I communicate and what do I communicate about expectations. And we've had people who want to come and like take a little tour of our new ministry space before they come to an event. So just something to think about, maybe for families who express that they're not ready, maybe they're not ready because the expectation is.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Bronwyn. Thank you for bringing that up. I know as we prepare to re-enter this Sunday, I know I talked with one family who what they really need is some pictures so that, like they can do a social story type of thing. And they don't even need me to write the social story, but they just need some pictures, actual photographs to share with their daughter. So we're gonna like fake set it up this week so I can take some pictures so that we can be ready to go on Sunday. Our building, it does have a preschool in it. And we do share some space with the preschool. So that's why it's not set up all the time. Oh, good. Tori has, if you need some ways to communicate what to expect, you can check out a church welcome story or Church the New Way social story. And she shared some examples. So you can go to the allbelong.org website and they do have some COVID-19 resources. So I will definitely be checking that out too. Thank you for sharing that. Deanna, did you have something you wanted to run past us?
Yeah, I'm just going to tag on. I was starting to write it in the chat on that last thing, though. We made a little small video that walked everybody through the changes, both our volunteers and our families. And those things intimidate the daylights out of me. That's why I like mute myself and stop the video on here. But I had a 20-something-year-old who you know, just on his phone in his pocket, he turned it into something beautiful, edited it fabulously. So it was no hassle for me. We just talked through the changes that we were making. But yeah, I wanted to pick brains a little bit. I've got a situation which I'm sure, you know, we've all got a variety of students in our participants in our program, variety of levels. And we've got, I've always had several very high functioning autistic students who have been interested maybe in more than what we were currently offering on the level of material that we're offering. But it's been really heightened lately when a couple of our non-speaking autistic students have gotten a voice, and we have found out that we've got geniuses trapped inside these happy, flappy bodies. And we're wanting to offer something that, like, one of them is, you know, like moved 3 years ahead in school and is wanting to go to medical school and has these great aspirations that they're fully capable of achieving. But that has, like I said, just been understood over the last couple of years. So we're looking at creating a new class that is going to be more appropriate for them, considering the idea. We have some inclusion in our church, but our self-contained stuff has worked better in the situation in our church. We're looking at possibly tying this in with student ministry with some of the students there who may have like social anxiety, and so student ministry isn't as easy for them as for the majority. But don't know if anyone has worked with this area at all before, or, you know, like ideas of curriculum, because most of what I'm seeing on special needs curriculum, we've tried most everything that's in there, and we love what we're using now, but we need something for a new target audience. These exceptionally bright people who still struggle with their body not cooperating with their mind. I know in the area of physical disability, I guess that's a common part of it, but the autism piece is the major component that we're dealing with. So if anybody's got any input, I would welcome it.
There is an organization called Spread out of Chicago. I could send you the information from them. This is Bob Furtado.
Spread or Spread Out?
Spread. Just Spread is out of Chicago.
I'll look them up. Thank you.
Welcome.
And Deanna, there's some suggestions, or a suggestion in the chat from Tori. So some online Bible study curriculum for all ages and abilities you could try together. And I know you've done some of these, but Together by Friendship Ministries, and she shared the link in there.
Well, actually, I was wondering if anybody has actually used that, because I know when I looked at it, we weren't in the place technologically to quite implement that in our classroom, but we've all upgraded in the course of Zoom land.
We're all IT geniuses now.
Or at least a whole lot more willing to try, and the church is willing to support
Karen,
us.
do you have something?
Yeah, we use Together, and I love it. I use their small group curriculum, and it's fantastic. It's really very good. It has lots of great suggestions. So we've really loved it.
Thank you, Karen.
And you all are so qualified. You could try it out for a couple of units, but then you'll know how to do this in a way, like use that as an example, basically, right? So use it as a ramp to say, well, we could do it this way. It helps us to think about how to do a Bible study inclusively for people of all abilities to be able to participate with content that's still challenging for anybody at any level, as far as like, you know, spiritual depth that it actually brings to the story, but also ways to participate that are just plain thumbs up, thumbs down, like really simple ways to respond and engage. But then once you know how to teach that way, and you've done that for, you know, a few months or a year, a couple of units or whatever, then you'll get the idea of how this format works, and then you can run with it. I think your ministries are probably in a place where you could start to format things that way yourselves once you know how to do it.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
All right. So feel free to chime in if you have additional feedback on that. I wanted to go back to the chat for a second because Carrie shared another resource for the social stories, and that's Autism Little Learners on Facebook. And I think a lot of us have seen, or on Teachers Pay Teachers. And she did point out that they're not church specific, but she's actually reached out to them to see if they could edit them for churches to use as well, which is awesome. So thank you for doing that, and keep us posted. Did we catch everything in the chat? It looks like it. Okay. All right, well, wow, and that time went by quickly. All right, so we will meet back here again on the first Monday of November. But do check out keyministry.org, the events tab, so that you can make sure you're signed up for the October Disability Ministry Video Roundtable, because I know it's not Christmas time yet, but I was in a meeting this morning where we talked about Christmas, so it's happening, folks. All right, thank you everybody for participating. We'll get the recording up, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, thanks everybody.
Right.